welcome to my channel. Today, as promised, I'm doing a side-by-side review of two new drugstore skin tints. I'm talking about the new Hydro Hero from Essence. Well, it's a couple of weeks old by now, but let's call it new. And a slightly older Catrice clean 24-hour hyper hydro skin tint. These are what the packages look like, and today we're going in depth and seeing how well these behave side by side. Before we do that, I want to thank you so much for clicking on my video. My name is Cecile, I'm 29 years old, despite what you might think with this necklace. Anyway, I live in the Netherlands and I upload a couple of videos a week with now makeup and fashion related content. So if that sounds interesting to you, then please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you here, and now let's get back into the video. So about a month ago I did a full face of Catrice, where I introduced this new skin tint. I have it in the shade Neutral Ivory, which is shade 2. And this one specifically says that it's for sensitive skin. So the new product for today is the Hydro Hero from Essence. And just straight away I want to mention that this name is so much more catchy than this name. The Catrice one, the 24-hour hyper hydro skin tint with also the word clean ID on it. It's just too much. With Hydro Hero as a contrast is great. And it does have the side note that it's a 24-hour hydrating tinted cream. So this is not technically a skin tint. I'm now noticing that. It's a tinted cream, so something like a tinted moisturizer, where this is a skin tint. So I would say that right off the bat, this coverage from the Essence should be a little bit higher than the one from Catrice, but let's find out. The Essence foundation I have in the shade 05 Natural Ivory, and both of these were the lightest shades available. I bought mine, this one I bought in store. I don't think the shade range was very extensive, but I'll put prices and shade ranges right here on the screen. So we have the Catrice and we have the Essence. And this one I bought on Boozy Shop, and this one I bought in Kruidvat, the drugstore here. So both of them come with 30 mils, and like I said, both of them were affordable. Now the catch is, this can't possibly be coincidence, because both of these brands are owned by the same company. So it's just a little bit too much of a coincidence for both of them to release kind of the same product in kind of the same packaging at kind of the same time. Also in kind of the same shade range. It just, at first glance, it almost made me think that it was the same product but just for a different sub-brand. Of course, that will probably not be the case, but again, we're going to find out. Final mentionings. This Essence one is vegan, and I think this one is as well, but it just doesn't say. No, this one doesn't say, but I do believe that the whole brands of Catrice and Essence are cruelty-free. And this one is with hyaluronic acid and squalane. And this one just says that it's 88% natural ingredients, which I personally don't give anything about, but alright. Final thing is this one has a shelf life of 6 months, and Catrice, oh, also 6 months. So in today's video I want to try these two foundations, skin tints, whatever you want to call it, side by side on both halves of my face, and then do a short or medium length wear test. But I'll include some footage here because I did apply the new Hydro Hero skin tint or cream on its own about a week ago, and I did film it, so it's rolling right now. And right off the bat I thought that this tinted cream had a little bit more coverage than the Catrice one, and I did think it looked quite beautiful, and I think I wore it for about 4 hours and it looked quite pretty after those 4 hours as well. I thought it was easy to apply, but I thought that about the skin tint from Catrice as well. So that's just some base information. Now let's zoom you in. I'm going to put the Catrice on this side of my face and the Essence on this side of my face, because I think that's the way I held them just now. The Catrice skin tint is very liquidy, and I feel like you have to shake it a little bit before use. By the way, I don't have any primer on my face. I did put a little bit of Chanel moisturizer on, but on both sides. And for both sides I am using the same brush, but I'm going to wipe it off as well as possible in between. So as you can see, this Catrice skin tint really doesn't give a lot of coverage. It does give a very nice hydrating look. It does even out my complexion a little bit. So I have this, you know, it's some redness, but it's also just some maybe sun damage. I'm not sure what it is. Some patchiness on my forehead and here on my cheeks. And it really does cover that, and that is what I'm mainly interested in. So I have been really liking this skin tint over the past 2 months or something that I owned it. It has pretty much been my go-to for when I want to wear makeup but not look too makeup-y. It does get pretty dewy even after this. My skin is normal, by the way, and I don't have any particular skin concerns. It's just, you know, light coverage is usually fine for me. I like a full coverage foundation as well. Anyway, I have this little spot here, and you can see it very clearly. It doesn't cover it, but that's fine. I don't care. I just want to let you know. So this is what this looks like, and it's definitely an improvement, but it's not very high coverage. Now I'm going to clean this brush off on my hand. Clean off my hand. And then we're going into the Essence. So this is the Tinted Cream. Oh, by the way, this one has SPF 15, and I don't think this one has any SPF at all. So this one I can shake, but it won't do anything. If I remember correctly, this one is a lot thicker as well. Yeah, definitely. I'm just putting on the same amount. Even though this formula is thicker, it does apply very thinly. Like, it feels like there's a lot of water in both of these formulas. It does feel very nice and hydrating. But you can definitely see a difference in coverage here. And I am applying about the same amount. So this is a side-by-side of both foundations, and you can definitely see that this one is very light coverage, sheer coverage, and this one is a light coverage. It's also maybe slightly less dewy, but I like the finish on both of them. I feel like this leans more towards a light coverage foundation, and this is an actual skin tint. But what the nice thing is, this says it is a tinted cream, so I suppose that's a tinted moisturizer, and I don't usually like those. I feel like they're often very greasy and very thick without giving me much. But this one actually feels light. It feels like a skin tint on my skin, and I like that. So right off the bat, I'd say they're for different things, and I guess I didn't realize that. So you can definitely say that these are different products. And even though the marketing and everything around it seems very similar, and almost suspiciously so, these are definitely different products that will do different things. But it's still nice to do a side-by-side, I think, and see how they wear over time. So before doing a wear test, I would say I prefer the Essence, because, and not just because it's more coverage, but because it looks a little bit more smooth. And maybe that is the fact that it covers a little bit more. I also think that both of these foundations are just a teensy bit too dark for me. But they are about the same color. But this was the lightest shade for both of them, so I'd like to mention that. Yeah, I think maybe the Catrice is just a little bit too shiny. It's just, especially since the coverage is a little bit lower, it looks a little bit like I have a lot of cream on my face, whereas this side looks nicely moisturized and even. So I'd say, you know, look at what's important for you, but at this moment in time, I'd prefer the Essence. So I'm going to do my whole face. I'll check in with you then. So I'm back with my full face of makeup. I did try to keep it a little bit lighter, but I don't know, I'm not sure if I succeeded. My eyebrows are definitely a little bit heavy today. What I used on my face was a little bit of my Pat McGrath concealer with my Essence Brighten Up powder, only right here. I didn't use powder anywhere else. I used my Charlotte Tilbury contour bronzing powder. I used my Essence blush in the shade, I'm not sure what the shade is, but it's a cranberry-ish color. I used my my Clarin eyebrow pencil. I used my Live It Up lipstick by Charlotte Tilbury. I used Catrice highlighter, and I think that's it. Oh wait, on my eyes is the ABH Amrezy palette with the Essence Lash Princess waterproof mascara. I think that's everything. So now that everything is completed, and I did do a full face, which side do I prefer? I do think this side looks a little bit lighter. Just this side, it's like the product got stuck to it a little bit more. And I did notice that with using my eyebrow pencil, some of the product right here lifted very easily. So I don't think this Catrice skin tint is very long lasting. The essence is a lot more. It actually looks a lot more like a full makeup look on this side. Whereas this side, it's a little bit less intense. That's what I feel like. I do prefer this side because, well, I'm not gonna kid anyone and into thinking that I'm not wearing makeup, so I might as well look as pretty as possible. But it's all going to come down to the wear test. So let's jump into, let's say 4 hours from now, and see how these products are holding up. Oh, by the way, it's now, I applied this foundation at 4:15. So at about 8 o'clock, I'll check in with you again. Hi, it's now 7:30, so it's been roughly 3.5 hours since I put on my makeup, but I really want to take it off because I think the moisturizer I used was maybe a little old. Anyway, my face is a little bit ticklish, so I would just want to take it off. But I think I have plenty of results for you. So this was the Catrice side and this is the Essence side. And I'm not sure if you can see, but here the foundation or the skin tint has pretty much completely worn off. Also above my eyebrow. But here I feel like everything, including the stuff that's on top of the foundation, is still pretty much intact. So this happened gradually. After, you know, an hour, 2 hours, it got a little bit worse. And I feel like it just lifted everything. So also the bronzer and also the blush. Also, I checked and my boyfriend said that this side doesn't look as nice. It didn't in the beginning either. It looked a little bit textured, he said, and a little bit like I had little bubbles on my face, which sounds really bad. Anyway, in a lens or in the viewfinder, I don't really see that big of a difference, but in real life it's definitely there. And I'm not talking about there being less coverage in the beginning, because there definitely was, but also after a little bit of time. This really held up a lot better than this one. So in conclusion, I would definitely advise you to get the Essence skin tint or tinted moisturizer, whatever it is, instead of the Catrice. But you know, if you like a really sheer coverage and you don't mind there not being a lot of longevity, then I guess the Catrice is fine too. I did like using it over the past couple of months, so maybe this was just a very poor wear test. But in comparison to the Essence, this is what I found out. So I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing and I will see you in the next one.